Welcome to BiChicks TV. This is the place to be for tips, tools, strategies, everything you need to build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. Today is Friday. That means it is time for Tech Life Weekly. And we are here live on YouTube, Facebook, Clubhouse, Twitter, anywhere in between. Hey, Dr. Tachi, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing really, really well. So TJ and Terry will be jumping in here a little bit later. So I'm going to get the party started with this day in tech history. And then I have a couple of other stories and we'll see what's happening.
Okay.
All righty then. So in October 18th, 1958, the world's first video game. I was like, oh, 58, huh? William Higginbotham and Robert Dvorak Sr. show off a tennis simulator game they call Tennis for Two. Developed on a Donner Model 30 analog computer using an oscilloscope, it is the first known electronic game to use a graphical display. Higginbotham and Dvorak developed the game to show off to visitors to the Brookhaven National Laboratory where they worked. The game was only shown off twice during the laboratory's annual Visitors Day. While hundreds of visitors lined up to play the game, when it was made available, little was known about the game for decades. While somewhat similar in gameplay to the later hit Pong, there is no known direct relationship between the games. And if you can see this, it's just like a mishmash of stuff all rolled over together. I'm like, wow.
Now, this is interesting because I thought that Pong was the first video game.
What we don't know. 1958, huh? And Pong was what, 20 years later?
Yes. You know, you're so right. Now, 1958, very interesting.
I was like, oh, wow. So, and another story, this might be of interest to you, Dr. Tashi. IMDb is launched in October 17, 1990. Colin Needham, an English movie fan, launches the rec.arts.movie database, which would later be known as the Internet Movie Database, or IMDb. An engineer working for HP at the time. By 1996, Needham quit his job to work on IMDb full-time. The IMDb is one of the most visited sites on the internet and was acquired by Amazon in 1998. Needham is still the general manager of the IMDb to this day.
Now, fun fact, I actually have an entry on IMDb.
Ooh. I need to go look that up.
Yes, it's just one, so don't get excited. One for now, anyway.
Well,
but I voiced, there's an award-winning audiobook called The Dawn of Destiny that I played one of the characters in. So I voiced one of the characters. We won an award, and that's my listing on IMDb.
Wow. That is awesome. So we know somebody in there. I like this. I'm going to go check that out. This history is just interesting. October 17th, 1907, Guglielmo Marconi officially opens the first commercial transatlantic wireless telegraph service, which runs between Nova Scotia and Ireland. So is that like the first text message? First transatlantic wireless telegraph service. 1907.
Yeah, that technically is.
Yeah. 1907. And we thought we were doing something.
You know what the thing is? I think people need to realize, sorry, hold on a second. Here we go. Okay, I think people need to realize that there's nothing new under the sun. Everything, and this is what I learned when I was in grad school. There was a a book, and I still have this book to this day. And I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to look at the cover, but it really is talking about how everything is like not only a reinvention or reincarnation, but an extension of your senses. So it all starts with the five senses, and then everything is an extension of that. Like, so for example, how, for example, television in a sense is an extension of your eyes and your brain and those types of things. So it's really interesting.
It really is interesting, and that's probably why I like history. I'm like, oh, so that's where that started. Somebody came up with an idea to solve a problem or to enhance us. So we're going to go back a little further in history. October 15th, 1878, Thomas Edison and a group of investors formed the Edison Electric Light Company. The goal of the company was to provide financial support for Edison's electric light experiments and work on developing an electrical lighting system for an entire city. The long-lasting carbonized filament light bulb, boy, that's a name, was developed by Edison while working for this company. Eventually, this and several other Edison companies were merged to form General Electric.
Now, two things about that. Number one, darn you, Edison, and your incandescent light bulb, because that's the reason we have such long working hours now. If you think about it, before we had light bulbs and constant electricity, you went to bed or you stopped work or anything when, the sun went down. That was it. So there was no method of seeing anything past when the sun was up. So it's this invention and, of course, stable electricity that enabled the extension of the workday, etc. So thank you, kind of, Edison.
Yeah, because they are working on here in the city. They do street work at night, like on the freeway. They block off the lanes and fire up the lights, and they're working overnight.
Exactly. And here's the thing. We also have to give credit to African-American inventor Lewis Latimer, because he actually improved the process for manufacturing carbon filaments for light bulbs. So without the carbon filament, you don't have light bulbs. So honor goes to him as well, because if you think about it, Edison really only invented the glass part.
So wait, other people are involved in the process because sometimes people think, okay, only one person is involved, but it's not.
It is to get to the point that's why when people say self-made millionaire, there's no such thing, because there are people along the way that helped you to get to that point. So nobody is really self-made unless you came into this world by yourself and nobody else helped you. You can never claim self-made. It's funny because I think it's a YouTube account, and I came across, and she said, self-made millennial. I said, now that is an oxymoron. If I ever heard that. Nobody helped you. Nobody helped you. So I'm putting that out there as a thing to say, even with all of these inventions and all of these processes, there were people and things and processes along the way that existed to help you get to that point.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's why we do this day in tech history, because somebody did something before somebody else.
Yeah. And this is one of my pet peeves. I don't want to go on a rant, but you have everybody, most people, I won't say everybody, most of the world has access to a device or a phone or something, and everything you could ever want is there. Not saying it's correct, but I remember when I was a kid, I had a set of encyclopedias, and that's where I got my information from. But I wanted to go in there and look at the books. It's just today, it's like everybody has some kind of device attached to them, but they don't use it for looking up information, like knowing about Lewis Latimer and all these other Black inventors. The information is there, and then when you tell people certain people, they go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, you use your phone for other stuff. Why don't you use that G button or whatever, Bing or whatever you use, and ask it?
But people don't. We are having this situation where that's why there are a lot of solopreneurs who are sharing their genius with people, because
Right.
people don't want to go search the information. And
They're lazy. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. It's just one of my little things that make my like,
Carrie is on one this morning.
it's there. I mean, and I think it has to do with when you have kids, you have to feed the knowledge of getting them to read books and wanting to know information and the wonder of it all. Because if they don't do it when they're kids, they're definitely not going to do it when they're adults. So it's just one of my things that
Some people do not go look it up. And it's literally, hey,
it's there.
or hey, yes.
Yeah, you can ask the air, you can ask your arm, you can ask the device. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Which brings me to my new history making information. Oh, I thought I had it pulled up here. This story comes from Emerging Tech Brew, and it is talking about talking to the digital teller. Voice assistants can make phone calls, check scores, schedule appointments, so it only makes sense that they can work as banking assistants too. In recent years, the financial institutions have experimented with voice assistants as a part of a larger effort by banks to meet customers where they are, according to Tiffany Montez, principal banking analyst at Insider Intelligence. It is now focused on physical distribution points and it is now less focused on physical distribution points and more focused on digital touch points. Digital touch points in the past has meant that it's more around online and mobile banking. When you think about the Internet of Things and you think about even younger consumers' interest in using voice assistants, that is where customers are. By the end of this year, 42% of Americans were projected to be monthly voice assistant users, according to a recent estimate. And that percentage could grow to 45% by 2026. Even so, despite the popularity of the tech in general, Montez says there is still a long way to go before voice banking is widely adopted, as a lot of them still have poor functionality or poor user experience.
I agree with that because and the answer to that is that it's about customer service first, like basic customer service with the bank, and getting that right before you say, okay, we're just going to hand it off to AI or the robot or whoever. Well, you got to have it right first because you've got to train the AI and the robot to do it correctly. So if you're not doing it right with a human or whatever, and then you take that and put it with AI and it's still not going to be correct. It's not the tech, it's not the device, it's the information you put into it.
Right.
So
we're still back to the human element.
Right.
And
the way voice gets adapted is that it has to be a use for it in someone's daily life. Like they have to see the value of it. Otherwise, it's like, I don't need that and I don't want it. But again, if they get the customer service right, if they get the conversation you have with a real person right, then the AI makes sense when you integrate it. But if you don't, then it's just more frustration for the customer. And you don't want that because they're going to get frustrated and go to someone else, your competitor or whoever's doing it correctly.
Right. So what I learned from that whole customer service situation, I wanted to look up an article on what was the name of the magazine? Economist, the Economist magazine. So you know how Apple has Apple News, right?
Right.
So you can click on Apple News, and then one of the channels was Economist. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can find the article that way. So I clicked on it, And I said, okay, I would, because you can still get a subscription, even though you are on the Economist within Apple.
Right.
You still
Because
need,
there are free articles, and then there's the one that the Economist, when you pay Apple Plus or whatever, however it works, I
right,
forgot. But there's other articles behind the paid section.
right. So I said, well, let me get the 7-day trial because I want to look and see if this article that I was looking for, because it was written way back in 2015. And I'm like, okay. So I went in there, signed up for the free trial. And then I got a message saying that, okay, your subscription has started. You will get an email from the Economist to set up an account.
Right.
Well, I never got the email. Okay, let me
Okay.
look in the spam. Let me look all over. Still don't have it. And I'm like, okay, so what the article I needed to go to the web to
Right.
look it up because it
Right.
wasn't new. And I'm like, okay, how do I log in?
Right.
Because I don't have an account over there. So I called their tech support and she said, well, we need your emails to do. I was like, we don't have an email because I never signed up.
Right.
And we went around and around and around. I said I logged in on from Apple, and she was like, well, I don't see you in here. And I was like, okay, they're not listening, or
because they don't have their customer database, the subscriber database connected from web and device. They've got it separate, and it's not connected. That's why.
And this is the challenge. So you know me, I'm like, okay, I need to find out. Well, this should be a seamless situation where I go from here to here and I get my article.
Yep.
So I talked to them, and so she walked through on her phone for her Apple device, and she said, "Oh, I see what you're talking about. Ding ding. Where is my article?" And so I ended up going over to the Economist frequently asked questions. It was deep down, buried down in the frequently asked questions, how to connect it to your iTunes account. I was like, really?
Wow.
It should not, if it's on the front page over here, there should be something.
I agree.
So imagine if that was banking.
I can't.
I was like, that was painful. Took me 45.
See, most people would give up. See, you and I, and I would say everybody that watches the show and watches us every day, we're into that. Okay, let me see if I can find it and take 10 steps, because that's just how we are. But most people in the world is like 1 or 2 steps. They're frustrated and they're done. So you've lost a subscriber.
Yes.
You've lost, there's a bad taste, all of that stuff. So that's where the design of they have a mobile device design for the magazine, and they have a website, but it shouldn't be separate. It should be together, and they didn't do that. So
I was like, okay. And she said, I'll take this to my colleagues. I was like, please do.
Yeah,
this was painful.
Yeah, make that make those two departments talk to each other.
Right. Now that she did want to, well, we can offer you a month instead of 7 days, and then I was like, that ain't the point. The point is I want to use it from my Apple device. I don't want to have seamless. I don't want to be over here with another something that I gotta,
because and most of the magazines on there, they have the Apple News version of the magazine or whatever, and then they have their own, like, regular, when you go to the website, they have a different thing. It's not together. Most of those are not together, which is a shame.
Right. And then they want to know why people are not subscribing.
Yeah, why?
Because y'all ain't making it easy for us. So
if you could make something one touch, one click, one this, one that, remember the Staples easy button, like that. If you can do that, people, you're golden. You got people locked in, because all I got to do is click a button.
Yep.
Tap up this, and have what I want. So a lot of these issues are customer service, customer experience, and people are just thinking, well, because it's tech and it's AI and it's virtual. But if you don't have it right, it's not going to work, regardless of where it is. So
right. So that's what I have for history and future history. And Terralina sent this story regarding robots that are picking strawberries.
Ooh.
Yes, let me see if I can
Is
bring.
there a link to watch a video?
Yeah, there is a video.
Ooh.
Right. So she
Robots picking strawberries. Let's see it.
Right. So I am going here, and then haven't been doing this in a while. Share.
Now that when you're doing that, because I saw something on the news about the farmers that I think it was apple farmers was saying that because the price of apple have gone, everything's gone up. Like the price of apples is like going off the roof. And they did an interview, and one of the apple farmers was like, they can't, it has to be hand picked. That's not a machine thing. So they need the workers to go out and pick. So strawberries, raspberries, fruit on the tree. It has to be picked by hand, and they're having a hard time getting people, because, and then the apple farmers their margins are smaller because the government sets that they have to pay a mandatory $20 an hour, I think, and it keeps going up. That the government tells the farmers that they have to pay the workers, so they're like, their margins are small and they're not making any money, so the prices of everything goes up. So that's a little tie-in for that. Why
Right.
why they're doing the robots, because then if you get the robot to do it correctly, then you don't have to do the mandatory minimum wage, which is kind of bad for the workers. But I have some feelings about that, so I'm not gonna.
Right. Okay. So I think I have this now because it was anyway commercials, which are not bad necessarily. It's just that I needed to skip past them. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let me turn the volume on.
The nation's strawberries, but severe drought and worker shortages are now threatening the fruit. CBS's Carter Evans reports help has arrived.
Yeah, we can see
America.
Picking strawberries can be backbreaking and tedious, but not here.
Someone will eat that in a couple days, so pretty exciting.
And they had no idea it was picked by a robot. One that works in a hydroponic field, a method of farming that can use up to 90% less water. And in the midst of California's mega drought, that could be a game changer.
With increasing pressures on water, on labor, and on chemical regulation, innovative growers are now putting these in and getting better and better at them.
Eric Adamson's company is behind a strawberry robotic revolution.
People think robots, they've been around forever, but they're actually very, very new, especially robots that make decisions and are autonomous.
Yes, they're programmed to think on their own with cameras that sense texture and color.
It really wants the one in the middle.
Oh, it got it.
Ah, that's a beautiful pick.
But as good as they are,
oh, nope, this is actually a fatal.
They're hardly foolproof.
We expect we will make mistakes and we'll expect things will break.
But Adamson says the robots now pick with 95% accuracy.
We're designing them to be co-robots. So these aren't just, replacing people's jobs. Actually, we're teaching people, some of them even farm workers themselves.
Did you know anything about robots before?
No, not at all.
John Paul Rodriguez used to work in the fields.
Yo, back hurts really bad.
Today, he manages the robots picking strawberries.
The robot is doing the job. I'm like, wow, I'm cool. And that way we can create jobs with higher wages and with higher skill development.
All as the robots themselves are getting more highly skilled, and not just in picking strawberries.
We hope to have hundreds and hundreds of robots around the world's leading farms, picking table grapes, peppers, cucumbers, blackberries, raspberries.
Robots taught to think. Incredible, if not a bit unsettling.
You'll watch it picking and you're like, no. Why are you doing that? And then, oh, no, okay, you knew better than me. So well done.
For Eye in America, I'm Carter Evans in Santa Maria, California.
That's awesome.
Lifetime give you flexible financing.
Oh. And I love the fact that and we were talking about the workers. So those workers are getting retrained in tech instead of just picking strawberries. Now he's getting valuable knowledge that if he leaves that farm, he can go somewhere else and possibly learn more and elevate into another tech field just by doing that. So
yeah, he's driving, and it's kind of like drone driving. He's driving the
right, but it puts it puts the seed of, okay, if I could do this, because he said I never, if he could do that, then it's like the seed of, well, let me look at this and maybe I could do something else, tech field, and go and get the knowledge and then elevate himself. So see how that works. And also I figured out, I was like, okay, they said it. The robot knows to pick the strawberry because it's designed to look at the color and the shape versus, because the raspberry is red, the rest is green. So they program it to ignore the green. So like even the strawberries that was like a little bit of red, they didn't pick those. They look at shape and color.
Right. And that had to be programmed in.
Yeah, that's programmed in. So that's why if you're asking, well, how does it know where to cut? It's because of that. And the sensors and visual sensors and things.
And this is the same situation they're having with electric vehicles when they're looking for the electric vehicle to be able to respond like a human. They have all of the cameras around, but the cameras they have to be able to distinguish between a dog,
or a person, or a child,
or whatever they are. Right now,
whatever the object is.
Right now, they can do trucks and cars and bicycles and things of that nature, but they're still trying to work the human element.
Yeah, it has to be fine-tuned.
Yeah, and I was like, some people was like, well, it's not out yet. I'm like, leave it alone, let them get it right.
Let it cook. But that was a great story.
Yes. And that is Terry's presentation today for innovation and life, tech in life.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Okay, so TJ, I guess you're up.
All right, I'm up. All right, this week in social media news and updates, let's look at Snapchat. I always start with them. Snapchat has announced new features for Snapchat Plus. So remember, that's their subscription level package. I think it's $3.99 a month. So remember, Snapchat Plus, you get ghost trails, you get best friend forever, you pin somebody as your best friend, story rewatch indicator, custom app icon themes. That's where you change the colors. You can have a Snapchat Plus badge, friend solar system. I forgot what that is. I think that's where you get your friends are all like, you get to see them on the map. Priority story replies. You get the post view emojis and Bitmoji backgrounds. That's the list from Snapchat's site, what you get with this $3.99. So
Dr. Tati said, "Oh, goody."
Yeah, all the things you don't want. So they're adding some new elements. And they're not big changes. So they're adding a custom story exploration and they're calling it S Plus. I'm gonna call it S Plus. S Plus subscribers, which will enable these users to set snaps on their stories to expire after 1 hour or up to 1 week. So you can, adjust when the story goes away or how long it stays up. Because remember, the regular stories, I think it's 24 hours. Snapchat, they're also adding custom notification sounds with S Plus subscribers are able to set different tones for different friends so that they can tell who snapped them without looking at their phone. So you go into your settings and then you can set default sounds for your different friends. So that person is, so you can hear it instead of going and looking and seeing who it is. One more thing, there's also new color border options in the app. So these are accent colors used when capturing a snap. And 3 new exclusive Halloween Bitmoji backgrounds. So if you're into Bitmojis and stuff. So those are some of the things that they added to Snapchat Plus. Snapchat says Snapchat Plus is a perfect stocking stuffer for the budding digital creator or selfie-loving friend in your life. And with frequent new feature drops, Snapchat Plus is really a gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, wait.
So you get all of that for $3.99. I say no, thank you. I'm not interested. None of those things appeal.
They are really, really trying hard.
Yeah. So and also I think that I was looking at the financial news this morning that Snapchat had their quarterly earnings something today, and it didn't look good. So I was gonna go back and read on that, but Snapchat is That's what's happening. All right, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is adding automatic captions to videos that you upload. So they're adding features geared toward making LinkedIn more inclusive to individuals with accessibility needs. So this is one of the options that they're adding. So so with automatic captions, LinkedIn wants to make videos more accessible to those who are deaf, hard of hearing, or prefer to watch videos with the sound off. Now, the captions are automatically added to videos during the upload process, and then you can decide then whether you want to add them right then or review and edit for accuracy. Also, LinkedIn is rolling out a high contrast mode on the mobile app. So we'll adjust colors to improve accessibility to people with visual disability. So these updates are rolling out in the coming weeks. So, if there's something you care about, just keep a lookout for them. So that's what's going on with LinkedIn. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube, we talked about this before. Remember, we were saying that they were testing that they were going to put 4K video behind the premium paywall. Remember that? So now YouTube has ended that test, and they're saying they're not going to do that. So if you have the free, all of us that have the free access, you'll be able to watch 4K videos now. So they were testing putting that behind the premium subscription because they want people to sign up and pay for the premium subscription. So watching video in 4K was one of those things that some people like to do. I really, as long as it's clear to me and I can hear, I don't really care. But some people cared about that. Also, you could tell if it was 4K, with the options on the video, and also some people use the hashtag 4K. So they were testing that. So YouTube has supported 4K videos since 2010, and they were saying that people on Reddit or something were saying that they were only paying YouTube subscribers were able to view 4K content. The YouTube premium plan costs $11.99 in the United States. It includes ad-free videos, background playback, and the ability to download videos for offline viewing. Now, remember, we were talking about Apple lets us watch videos. We can move it around and and do something. So I think we were going to check and see if that was just Apple or.
I think it might just be Apple because I tried it on my iPad. And it didn't have the picture-in-picture when I was on the iPad. On my phone, it's picture-in-picture.
The picture-in-picture, because you can move it around and then you can do other stuff on your phone. So I think
I got to check on my iPad and see if it was me, because iPad's got new ways of doing side by side.
They got new stuff. And I know that with YouTube, if you don't have the premium and you want to move away from it, it just closes. Like it stops playing. I think it closes.
Right, but not on the phone. Right, I keep it playing. I was like, oh, this is nice.
And I noticed that, and I was just like, okay. I didn't really think about it. I was like, oh, that must be an Apple thing. All right, so again with YouTube is from.
Hold on a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dr. Taji.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make a comment on YouTube and the 4K. And we've had this conversation before about 4K in terms of we're not there as an ecosystem. So even though they've supported 4K viewing since 2010, we're not there as an ecosystem. We were barely at HD, which is 1080 in 2010, not to talk of, now. So I think it was wise for them to end that and come to the decision that, okay, we're not going to do that, because here's the thing. What happens when the next thing comes along? The next iteration is like really watching things in 8K. We're nowhere near there yet, but that's the next thing. So do you then start charging people every time something new comes out? No, I think you just have to understand that is what technology does. It improves, it moves on, and that's like charging people for breathing air on Spirit, if you ask.
And he tried it too.
And see, YouTube's been doing a lot of things to push people to get the premium package. Like they've added more ads on video. Used to be one or two. Now there's ads on every video. Ads are everywhere. So they're trying to push people to pay for that $11.99. So I think YouTube is going to do some more trickery like this. But the pushback was on this. There was pushback because when we talked about it last time, they said a lot of people were upset and there was pushback. So YouTube said, okay, we're not going to do that because of the pushback. So if you've got a complaint, voice it. Always voice your complaints because you never know, your voice adds to a bunch of other people and then, they decide not to do it. So, but YouTube is going to do more stuff to push you to buy and pay $11.99 a month.
See, I would consider it if they would do up now this YouTube. If YouTube did a bundle, normally I'm not a fan of bundles, but if they can just bundle everything instead of nickel and diming me for stuff, like $11.99 here, $64.99 there.
That's one of the things I'm saying. Complain about it because it may be other people complaining about that very same thing, and when you put everything together, YouTube goes, okay, wait a minute, we should do a bundle because we're nickel and diming everybody.
I will voice that.
Yeah, you should. You should. I mean, and this is with anything. If you feel like, okay, not to to beat it over the head, but it has to be something genuine. Like, why stop charging me this, that, and the other? That's like with the cable company when you call them and say, if you call them and say why, they'll try to say, okay, well, we'll give you a month free or we'll do this and that. It's not much, but it's better than just taking it, just sitting back and taking it and going, why? So I always voice it. So do it on social media, send them an email, call them, and just not be me, but I'll just say, well, I'm been a customer, and you just say those things and just say and keep saying you're very unhappy. That's the key. Say I'm a very unhappy. I've been a customer for 10 years and I'm very unhappy. I do that all the time. I say I'm very unhappy. And they say, oh, I'm sorry. And they give you things or they offer you stuff to make it better. So that's just one of the things that I do. So
thank you very much.
I own up to it. I do it all the time, and not in a I've been a customer for whatever, and I'm not happy with this process, and and I've been looking at. We do that all the time, and it's always like we'll give you a free month, we'll give you a this, we'll give you a that, and I'm like, okay, that makes me happy for now. So,
thank you.
Marcus a comment. Mark has a comment.
He says, I am a cost reduction ninja with all of these services. He gonna have to you can do a workshop or
you have to call. It's the same thing when they tell you about your credit card. If you call and if you state what it is and say what it is, depending on the company and the corporation, they're trying to. This is the thing. They know it costs. There's something called customer acquisition cost. We're getting off a little bit, but just bear with me. It's called CAC. It costs more to get a new customer than to keep the one that they have. So when you call, they want to keep you. You want to keep you. So they're going to give you little incentives. I mean, it's nothing big, but there's something there. So Mark says he's a cost reduction ninja. That's what you have to do. So just a little tip. All right, so back to YouTube. YouTube is providing more creators with access to shoppable links. Now, remember we were saying that TikTok had their live shopping thing, and Amazon has their live shopping, and there was Instagram had their shoppable things, and they were pulling back because it wasn't working. Well, YouTube is going ahead with it, so they're saying that. So this is the quote. By year's end, members of YouTube partner program in the US, UK, Brazil, and India with at least 20,000 subscribers will be able to tag their video shorts and live streams with shoppable links. So you're going to have access to have links where you can do live shopping and have links where people can buy. So this is one of the things that they're doing. So they're adding links. So, So where this comes from is that live shopping links is big in Asian countries like China. Is really big. It's like billions of dollar industry. So, they're trying to bring it over here, and it hasn't had much success. I don't know why, but it hasn't had much success. And then YouTube is like, okay, well, we're going to try it. And YouTube's doing more stuff for creators, like giving more things. Last week we talked about the username, the @username tag, so you can tag people. So they're trying to make it a little bit more. YouTube knows that it's not a fun place for creators yet, but they're working on it. It's not as fun as like TikTok and Instagram. They know that. So that's why they're giving this. There'll be more stuff from YouTube as far as the creator economy. I'll put it like that. All right. Look, I'm gonna save that one. No, I'm gonna say that's a big one. Let me skip that because we're gonna have a discussion. All right, I'll go to Instagram. Instagram is launching a live test of native post scheduling in the app. So this means you'll be able to schedule posts in the app. They're testing it with a limited group of users, but they're saying it's going to be expanded soon. So this will be a built-in post scheduling option. It will be added to the advanced options in the post composer flow with a new element that will enable you to set a date and time for the post to go live. So this will enable you to schedule both regular posts and reels, but there's no information about scheduling stories. So right now is posts and reels, and this is within the app. Now you could schedule with the third, you could schedule your post with a third party app like Buffer and trying to think of some of the others
Later and
yeah. So you can do that. So now they're putting it. Instagram is putting it inside of the app. So this is
it should have been inside the app a long time ago because being able to schedule it, because I know we can schedule it if we were in Facebook,
right,
and go to the
creator studio, which is now the Meta Business Suite. I think they changed the name.
And when I was over there yesterday trying to help somebody out, I was like, what did you all do in
they
here?
Keep moving stuff around.
I was like,
what creator you're talking about? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Creator Studio. Which
did you notice that Creator Studio also? For the longest time, there's been this message that said there's some kind of glitch where if you post to Instagram using Creator Studio, your video doesn't go out to as many people.
Really?
Okay, so we shall be posting the video on the Instagram instead of.
So now you'll be able to schedule it within the app instead of using Creator Studio or Meta Business Suite. Is Creator Studio still around? Because I use the Business Suite, the Meta Business Suite, but I was using Creator Studio.
I think they just changed the name and moved you over, but they need to put up signs.
Confusing.
It's like, come on, guys.
Confusing. And we're not the only ones complaining about Facebook and their tools. Everybody, I see it all over Facebook. The people that have business pages and Instagram business accounts and creator accounts, everybody is like 100% mad with what Facebook is doing. Like they keep changing things.
Right, because and then
it's confusing.
Yeah. Hey, Yolanda. Good to see you here this morning. Yeah, so I agree that they need to set up the house or the living room or whatever and leave the furniture alone.
Yeah, leave it alone. Stop moving it around. Because when we're, I like to walk around in the night without turning on the light. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna break my toe because you moved the chair. I was like, that chair wasn't there, and I could just walk through. So now.
Yeah, Yolanda said I can't tell which account to use.
See? There you go. It's everybody. Everybody has this complaint, and it's valid that they keep moving the cheese around, they keep moving the things around, and nobody knows where to find anything. It is frustrating. Mark has a big comment.
Mark says, I write my blog pieces 8 days ahead and schedule them to publish. I use that forever changing Meta Business Suite missing letter for drip campaign. Oh, I didn't know they had missing letter for drip campaigns and social bee sometimes, but I have yet to schedule things for later on IG. I do those live.
Right. So now we'll be able to schedule that. You'll be able to go in the Instagram and schedule it in the settings. Yolanda has one too.
Yolanda says all these apps should simply charge subscriptions and forget about waiting on us to buy ads.
Now, see, the thing about that with Meta, I don't think they will ever get rid of ads because they make so much of the revenue is made from ads.
And she says charge for reach, like the email software, where you charge, like if you do 1,200 people, then you start getting charged and stuff. And then Mark said, shh, Wanda.
See, now the thing is, I believe Meta has looked at for a long time the subscription level. Like Snapchat has the Snapchat Plus, Twitter has the Twitter Blue. I think on the sneak tip in the back, they've been looking at that for a long time, but they know that they will lose people if they go to subscription only mode. They will lose users, which means their ad revenue will go down, because I don't want to run an ad because there's nobody on actively using it. See how that goes? But I think they want to, but I don't think they'll ever get rid of, letting you run the ads, because that's where the majority of their revenue comes from.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me, so what is a boost and how does that help me? I said, we need to have a whole another day to sit down and talk about that, because I don't know where your stuff is going to go.
That's big. Yeah. Only Facebook knows. So yeah, that's a big topic.
Ooh, okay. It's not easy in the Facebook world right now.
Yeah, it's not. So we just know that we're not the only ones that's frustrated, but the Meta Business Suite is a free tool to use, and I suggest you use it. I use it a lot. I know Fran uses it. If you have, there's lots of pages and things you want to do. Yolanda has another comment.
She says, big companies will always advertise. Small businesses can't afford hit or miss advertising.
Right.
And yeah, and with the boost is a hit or miss. And if you don't understand how to set up the business account on Facebook for your ads.
Yeah, let's not even get into once you get into admin, that's a big topic, guys. So we're not gonna get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one more on Instagram. Instagram has rolled out updates to how they protect people on Instagram from abuse. So they've got more features to protect users from abuse and help them block the accounts of trolls on the platform. So they're saying that you will now be able to block all existing accounts of a person. So they have an update where you can block when you get spam, you can go in and block in any future accounts. Well, now they've changed it to where they have any accounts, not even the new ones. So that's what this update is. So it's a ability to block not only a single account, but also any new accounts that person may create.
Oh.
Right. So it's to make future interaction with that person less possible. So this means that Instagram knows like where you are. Like if you're in the app and you say, well, okay, well, I'm gonna make this account, it's all tied together, so they know that you're the root person, so you can block that person. Like they say someone, that spamming has like a few accounts, and then they spam you with the last one they made, and then when you go into block them, it says block so and so and any future accounts. They're changing that to block them in all accounts.
That's good.
And it's helpful, but there's still gonna be people that spam, and it's annoying to have to go in and block, but that's the only option we have right now.
Is that like when it's Johnny Depp 2452 or somebody, all these random people? I'm like, who are you?
And you have to block. Instagram says, based on initial test results from this new change, we expect our community will need to block 4 million fewer accounts every week, since these accounts will now be blocked automatically. We'll see, Instagram. We'll see. All right. They've also, okay, go ahead. Mark's got a comment.
Mark says, let's create the technology to do that in the real world as well. Block so you never see or hear from them again. They can still live their lives. I just don't have to know about it.
That's funny, Mark. Thank you.
I agree.
All right. Instagram has also upgraded its hidden words feature that helps prevent users from viewing abusive messages or comments. So hidden words is being expanded to cover replies to stories and will automatically hide any offensive replies to those posts. They've also fixed the filtering to improve to spot intentional misspellings of offensive or abusive terms. That means like, they purposely misspell the word. That's one of the offensive words, and so Instagram is saying it's going to catch that also. Instagram is was testing turning on the words tool by default for creator accounts. Creator accounts are accounts with more than 1,000 followers. They're also expanding nudges. So remember, they have the little pop-up message to remind you to be respectful in the comments, as well as DMs when sending a message request to a creator. So Instagram says, now a new notification will encourage people to pause and consider how they want to respond before replying to a comment that our systems tell us could be offensive. So it's just a little pop-up that's saying, do you really want to, send that post or make that comment? So that's the nudges.
And Yolanda says, Facebook just put a Meta Boost event in my notification.
Okay, speaking of Meta has announced new tools for Facebook groups at their community summit that they had this week. So it was the 6th Facebook Community Summit annual gathering for community leaders from around the world. So the biggest announcement for Facebook groups is Reels. So there'll be Reels in groups. So just like on Instagram, Facebook users will be able to edit a reel with custom audio filters and text before sharing it in the group. Here's the quote from Meta. Reels and groups let you express your voice in communities through creative and immersive videos. Imagine people in a makeup obsessed group sharing their latest techniques and beauty finds with fellow members. So they're saying group admins and members can also add creative elements such as audio, text overlay, and filters on top of the videos before sharing them to bring their stories to life. So Reels and groups. Okay. More things about groups. Members of groups will be able to share a public event for their community to their Instagram story. So that's another way to showcase engagement opportunities, attract more group members. Facebook's also testing customization options for people's About Me section specific to each community in order to better highlight relevant information for that audience, along with a new indicator that highlights whether you're open to private messaging. So this is your About Me. So you'll say if you're open to somebody giving you a DM. They're also testing the ability for group admins and moderators to create view-only chats to send one-way communications to all of their members without having to maintain or respond to messages in the chat. Also, a new process to highlight top contributing members who'll be able to earn points by taking on group engagement responsibilities. All right, so that's for the admins and moderators. There's also something called Admin Assist. It's an element that will enable group admins to implement automatic removal of posts containing information that is against Meta's terms of service, and that is determined by Meta's third-party fact checkers. That could make it easier to get rid of misinformation in the group without having to confront members and explain the reasoning. Now, why they're adding all of these things to groups is that Facebook group is a key element for Facebook. They know that most Facebook users are now members of at least 15 groups or more. So they know that that's where the engagement is happening on the app versus the feed. So that's why they're adding all this stuff to groups to make it.
And then there are groups. There are groups that are being formed outside of Facebook, and Facebook does not want people to take their groups offline.
Right. Exactly. All right, moving on to Pinterest. Pinterest is partnering with record labels to bring popular music to its IDEA pins, which is their TikTok rival, which is their feed where you can make videos like TikTok and it scrolls through, and then you can put your video in, and then the pins go to the links go to your pins that you have on your Pinterest boards. So what they're doing is they're adding popular tracks from top artists. They have new licensing deals with Warner Music Group, Warner Chappell Music, Merlin, and BMG. So this will expand upon the music already provided through Pinterest royalty-free music library from 7 Digital. So they're saying there are going to be thousands of new tracks available from artists like Dan Pluchet, Bruno Mars, Michael Bublé, 21 Pilots, Zach Bryan, Paramore, and more. So they're saying that on the app, they're going to introduce a new music experience on iOS and Android. You'll be able to search for music by artist, track name, or keyword in order to find the right song to go with your idea pin. Okay, so they're trying to be a competitor with TikTok and other apps that have the short form video format. So Pinterest is like, hey, we're trying to get in there. Don't forget about us.
Mark had a comment on the previous Facebook. He says confronting people on their lies is the best part. Don't take away the fun.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so one quote from Pinterest. The last thing about this: music plays a vital role in elevating storytelling and empowering storytellers, creators, and pinners who inspire the world every day on Pinterest. We are thrilled to partner with Warner Music Group, Warner Chappell Music, Merlin, and BMG to bring the latest music tracks to our platform and elevate the content and inspiration created on Pinterest. So Pinterest is trying to get in there with TikTok. They're trying to be a part of the conversation with the short form.
And I think, with the short form, even if everybody is doing it, if people stick with your group, if your people are on Pinterest, do short form on Pinterest. If they're on TikTok, do short form on TikTok or Instagram, wherever your people are, do your short form there instead of trying to be everywhere. Now, I probably would have a YouTube Shorts and one of the others, but instead of
definitely go where use the platform where your people are hanging out. Pinterest is majority women issues and women interest based. There are men there, but you have to know where your people hang out. So now there's going to be short form on most of the apps where you are. So you pick the one. That way, you get rid of the frustration of I have to be everywhere. You don't. You
do not have to be everywhere.
No. All right. So Twitter, we got a real quick one. Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of Twitter staff if he takes over the company. They're still talking about him taking over. And he says that he plans to eliminate nearly 75% of Twitter staff as part of his deal to take over. Twitter current management said they were already going to cut 25%. But Musk wants to go further and cut 75%. So Twitter has 7,500 employees. He wants to take it down to 2,000. So all of this stuff that's going on with Musk has created low morale, and employees are leaving in droves anyway. So that's the mess that's going on. And then you got the stuff where Kanye is trying to buy Parler. All of this stuff is going on. Parler, and I was like, I just read it. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, and I just move on. So that's the latest. With nothing really happened with Twitter, but that I thought that was important to say that okay, he wants to cut 75% of Twitter. Well, who's gonna do what they need to do? So Twitter already has like a harmful content, spam issue, this and that. So if there aren't any employees to take care of it, it's just gonna be the not the Wild Wild West, but it's gonna be a mess.
And what services are going to get cut? Will we still have Twitter Blue?
Well, if you don't have any employees, you can't do much.
Dr. Tachi said, who cares? Dr. Tachi said, who cares?
Oh, that's what I said.
Once they finish, going in and doing whatever they're going to do, we'll see what happens. Okay.
Yeah, it's like watching, for me, it's like watching Real Housewives. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's on. I'm just like, y'all just squawking and they're just doing stuff. Elon is doing this, that is doing that. And then all of the financial news is like, oh, I'm like, please just be calm and just, I'm waiting for, the real stuff to happen. Nothing real has happened yet. So we'll see.
No papers are signed. No money's been transferred.
It's just it's all a play now. It's just a play. Sit back and watch, eat your popcorn, and then wait till the end of the curtain comes down. It's like, that's what I do. All right, so TikTok is introducing an adult-only content option. There's an adult-only option for live streamers on the platform who wish to restrict their viewership to those 18 and older. It's not the adult content, it's just adults-only content. So they don't want to, you want to live stream and you have to set it to where 18 and up. So they're putting that option in. So they're saying that the guidelines will be different for adult-only streams. All content, even if designated as better suited for those over 18, must adhere to our community guidelines with regard to moderation. It's the same as all content in TikTok. We leverage a combination of people and technology to enforce our community guidelines, which apply to everyone and everything on the platform. Also, users will be able to include up to 5 guests in a multi-guest stream. They're also updating the keyword filter feature to send reminders and suggestions to creators looking to moderate their own live stream, commenters, and interactions. So currently, TikTokers with a minimum of 1,000 followers older than 16 can live stream, but on November 23rd, that age limit will go up to 18. So they're changing the live threshold. You have to be 18 or whatever to go live, or come in and watch the live. So you could set it to adults only, and then also live stream you have to be 18. The age limit will be 18. Okay. And our last story. Now this one we might have a little discussion. I hope not. We're running. Okay, let me do this. So TikTok parent company ByteDance plan to track Americans' location through TikTok. This has been discovered by I think it was Forbes uncovered this. So there was a project that would have involved accessing location data from some U.S. users' devices without their knowledge or consent. Now remember, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with TikTok with the government. I think there was 2 Congress people or something that was asking it to be banned in the App Store, in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store because of spying and all the stuff, the data that they're using to have a back door. ByteDance says no, we don't do any of that. So they're saying that a China-based team at TikTok parent company ByteDance plan to use the TikTok app to monitor personal location of some specific American citizens, and this is all from Forbes. So they have something called an internal audit and risk control team. So this team planned to collect TikTok data about the location of a U.S. citizen who had never had an employment relationship with the company. So they were going to get location data from the device. Now, TikTok says that they collect approximate location information based on users' IP address to help show relevant content and ads, to comply with laws, and to detect and prevent fraud and inauthentic behavior. That's TikTok's answer. But they're saying they have something called a green channel that has requests for information about U.S. employees, and they have pulled that data from mainland China. So they're saying that they were trying to use that backdoor that they have to spy on location data on people, some people in the U.S., not all of them. They're saying specific. They're not saying who. But what's going on is that it's getting murky. It's like this is not the only thing that we're finding out from TikTok. There's the other stuff. Because remember, in July, it was the Senate Intelligence Committee began an investigation into whether TikTok misled lawmakers by withholding information about their access to U.S. data early in the year. That was based on a story that BuzzFeed did that said that U.S. user data have been repeatedly accessed by ByteDance employees in China. TikTok comes out and says, no, China doesn't have access. Then we have the Oracle situation coming in where they're saying, okay, Oracle is going to handle the U.S. servers, and they're going to use Oracle's cloud services. But Oracle doesn't know who is accessing the TikTok data? Because that's all in China. So it's like a smoke screen that we're trying to figure out what's going on. And it's like every couple of weeks or every month, something comes out where TikTok is looking at your data. Because there was another thing that we talked about before. I forgot what it was. And TikTok said, no, we see it, but we don't use it. Forgot what it was. So there's a couple of things going on. That's why I said we need to pay attention to what's going on TikTok, especially with this Senate committee that they're trying to say that the app should be removed from the Play Store and from the App Store. So I know that's confusing, but what's happening is they're discovering all these little tentacles of ByteDance in China that's in TikTok, and they're doing more and more things. Oh, I know what it was. It was something about biometric data that TikTok was using. I think facial recognition, something that TikTok was doing, and they were using it in the wrong place. So there's lots of things going on. There's a bunch of layers, and I mean, I feel like something's going to happen. I don't know what, but remember, TikTok is the #1 app for Gen Z, and they love it. I don't know how you're going to pry it from them, because it's just. Go ahead.
I think they're going to probably, if it goes away, people are going to migrate. That they will probably, the Gen Zs and below are probably going to migrate to Snapchat.
Mm-hmm. And then probably go back to Instagram. Now remember, TikTok was banned in India. I forgot what year.
Right.
3 or 4 years.
It was 2016.
I think so. I remember the date.
2016.
Let me see real quick.
Well, the 2016, 17, 18. 2016 or 2018 or something. It was definitely because they were trying to when Walmart was in line to purchase.
I think so.
I mean? Yeah. So this is going to be really interesting. So you need to be thinking about where your short form video content is going to be housed. If you
I think it was 2019 and then a total ban in 2020 for TikTok in India. There's some confusion there, but it's been banned for a while.
Right.
And they were making money off of TikTok over there, and then there was a big thing. They removed it, and now there was upset, and then those users had to find another place to go.
And they probably went to Instagram and Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, you need to get your plan B together right now.
And the thing is, I think India banned some other Chinese-based apps, not just TikTok. So, it's just getting more like onion, like peeling off the layers. And every time this, something comes out about TikTok and user data, TikTok and privacy, TikTok is spying, it's because, and their answer is, oh, we're not doing that.
Okay, anyway, I could tell stories about people who lie on the stand. Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Did you say the name of the app that they banned in India, the Chinese app?
It's a list. Hold on, let me bring up. It says India permanently bans TikTok and 58 other Chinese apps.
58.
I don't have a list. This was January 26, 2021, this article.
Wow.
I'm interested in the list, but India was like, we're not doing a deal with you, China. And see, the thing is, you have to realize that if it's a China-based app, that means Chinese developers, what's going on with that government, and they have their stuff built in. And then it was like, oh, okay, we're going to move all of our servers to Singapore and the UK and this and that. But the base of it is in China, built by Chinese developers. And there was talk of them having like a master key. They heard I think it was some of the Chinese developers were talking on some kind of channel, and they heard something about a master key or a master thing where they can go in and get whatever they want. Now, everybody doesn't have access to it, but it's in China, whoever that person is. So,
okay, Get
I'm
your
just
plan
saying.
together, because if Apple and Google find out there's something there, they'll probably shut it down and remove it.
Well, see, this is the thing. I think they know. Apple and they know. It's just that the government is having these meetings and deciding, the committees deciding whether to make it official. You must do it. I think that's what it is.
So the button may get pushed.
So what happened? Now we talked about this. What happens if it's not in the App Store and not in Google Play? That means your app could stay on your phone, but it won't be updated, and then you have security issues with that. So you can use it, but it won't. It'll get to the point where it won't be updated and it won't work. Because I know some people, some of these Gen Zs are going like, I don't care. I have it on my phone. I'm going to continue to use it, but eventually it will stop working.
Right.
Because they'll pull the plug. So
it'll be glitchy and stuff.
This is interesting. This is an interest, and I said before when we talked about this, to keep watch, that we were going to see what happens. So there's more layers coming on with TikTok.
And TikTok, it ain't looking good for TikTok. If we keep discovering now you've been in the kitchen, now you've been in over here in the den, and you've been over here. So
now remember, Twitter, Meta, Snapchat, all of the, they will be happy if TikTok goes away. Because like you said, if it goes away and you can't use it, where are all those users going to go? To one of the existing apps.
They'll filter back into Instagram probably.
Right. Yeah. Instagram, some will Snapchat. I don't think they'll go to Be Real, because I don't think Be Real is gonna last. It's not that kind of thing.
Dr. Chachi said, I might have.
I'm sorry. For me, it's absolute rubbish. I do see not to belabor the point, I do see the attraction to taking a snap in the moment and sharing it. I can see why Gen Z and possibly Gen Alpha are interested in that type of thing. For me, I'm like, okay, I don't have time to stop and take a picture every time you give me an ultimatum, take a picture else. I'm not doing it. And then, but here's the other thing. TikTok, did you notice that TikTok added that same feature?
Yeah, they have it called TikTok now.
Now, exactly. So there's something to be real. There is younger millennials, also Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they do like it. But the thing is, it remains to be seen how they're going to be able to monetize that.
Right. And we talked about that last week, because they're saying they're not going to run ads. They're not going to run ads. And I believe there was a story today about them getting some VC funding. But I said that. I said, we've had a lot of apps that said, oh, we don't need you. We have VC funding. I think Blab said that in the early days. Oh, we don't need your money. Oh, we're good because we got funding. Where's Blab? Smile Time, another one is, oh, don't worry, we got funding, don't you worry. Where's Smile Time?
This funding doesn't last forever. If you only have $10 and you spend $1 a week, after 10 weeks, that $10 is gone. You have to have a way to replenish it. And that's why when we have VC funding, it's not an endless wallet.
That's why I said, as soon as I heard that they're not running ads and they're not charging, so they Be Real raised 60 million, and they have 20 million DAUs, which is daily active users. That doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care, because we talked about Facebook and ads, they're not ever going to stop, because that's their revenue. That's how you make money. If you're not making money, you cannot exist. So Be Real thinks that it's a feature, and you see it. It's in TikTok. It's going to be in Instagram. We had, what is it called? Candid Challenge.
Candid Challenge. I'm protesting. I will talk to Instagram. Just make it, call it Candid.
Yes, Candid.
Candid Challenge.
It's called IG Candid Challenges or something stupid. Also, I read an article this week where people were complaining about Be Real already, because people are just taking stupid photos.
And some of the photos were like,
some of them were,
else. You could have had a different shot of something.
So that's why I said they're not running ads. They're not charging. Instagram and TikTok copied the feature. the users are starting to complain because it's like there's nothing quality in there. They said it's a bunch of stupid photos. And I said somebody took a picture in the bathroom. Somebody was in the bathroom and took a BeReal. No.
But see, we knew that was going to happen. When I was laughing when you said people are complaining because there's nothing of quality. I'm sorry, were they expecting pictures of them at the Louvre? Come on, this kind of app screams rubbish content. It really does, because you're leaving it in the hands of people who already don't create great content, and so you're just giving a microphone to people who aren't in the thoughtful content creation game anyway. So did they think it was going to be life-changing, uplifting content? I never did.
And you have to realize BeReal is a feature. It's not an app. It's a feature. One, I already got a bunch of apps. Two, I installed and I forgot about it. There's app fatigue. And if Instagram has it, TikTok has it, Snapchat has it, Twitter has it, I'm already there. I'm going to use it over there. I'm not going to download BeReal. So it's hot now. It's the talk of the whatever now, but it can go away, it can fade, because they're not letting people do ads. They're not charging. They got, we got VC funding this week. Okay, good. That money will run out.
Mark has a comment.
Yeah.
He says, instead of advertising, BeReal should use extortion. If you don't pay us, we're going to show your boss, wife, husband what you were really doing instead of what you're supposed to be doing.
Now that's an idea there. Now you got something there. It may be illegal.
Happening because people don't take care when they do things. They just post, especially certain people, just post on social media without thinking about the repercussions. So that bathroom shot, guess where it's going to be floating around the world for your boss or whatever to see your future boss. That's another thing. It doesn't encourage you thinking before you post. It's not thoughtful social media. Let's say that.
Wow, that's really good.
They're trying to be different for the sake of being different. We're not Instagram. We're not this. We're not that. I'm like, but what are you? You just take a picture at a certain time of the front and the back camera. That's it. And all the people, they're starting to backlash about being stupid stuff being posted. So there you have it. I don't think it's gonna be around long.
I don't either. I have one question for you. I saw a WhatsApp commercial by Meta.
Oh yes, that's was in the UK. They had like a what's that? It's the technology that they have the 3D where I saw it in another thing where it's like a sharp jump that it has a name. Not virtual, it's kind of virtual reality, but it's like outdoor and it looks like there's a name for it. Oh, I can't remember the name. But yes, WhatsApp did a encrypted security feature ad in Piccadilly. I think it was Piccadilly Square in London.
Are they trying to tell us that they are now secure and private, and their privacy is?
Well, that's what they're trying to say. And remember, WhatsApp is popular and more popular outside of the US because most people don't have a data plan, and that's a way of communicating. So yeah, WhatsApp is really big, but not as big here.
They're highlighting their security. Oh, that's what it was. It said we're more. What was it? It said you can. Oh my gosh! Did you know that your texts are not encrypted? Your text messages are not encrypted, and people were like, "What? What do you mean? You can get WhatsApp?" I was like, "Seriously?"
Yeah. So it was some a 3D effect. That's what it's some kind, but there's another name for it. So they had an advertising that was on. It appeared to peel the layer off of a building. So the visual was, it looked like the building, and then the ad started to peel stuff away and talk about the security of the messaging and end-to-end encryption and two-step verification.
I can play the video. I've seen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because this, I was like,
But
seriously.
there's a name for this 3D ad because it was somewhere in Canada they did something where it's like a shark jumped out or something. And people were like, "Whoa!"
What I was meaning. Anyway,
Go ahead.
let me see if I can do this and that.
Help you.
I'm going to mail this.
Bingo is our messenger pigeon. What?
Oh my God.
This is mostly secure. Mostly. Fairly secure. Yes, sir. This is crazy. You know what else is crazy? That SMS text that he's sending? It's unencrypted. Other people might see your text just like other people might see that letter.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, they're trying to say that WhatsApp is better encrypted than your text messages that go out. I was like,
really? So the one I was talking about, I'll pull it up and show you. That they were talking about that it was some it's a name for this type of ad. I can't remember what it is right now. And I clicked on the wrong button. And it's like a 3D. Here, let me.
I was just asking about WhatsApp's, the whole idea of them talking about they were encrypted and secure when that's what they were not.
Right.
Back in the day. You know, I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, so do I have it? Is it there?
Let's see.
Is there no sound? Do I have the sound down?
The sound, I don't hear it.
Yeah, why is there no sound?
Maybe there wasn't any sound.
Maybe there's not any sound, but see, that's that. It's 3D imaging where the ad. There's a name for it. I can't think of the name. And it's just showing. It says end-to-end encrypted backups for WhatsApp. Your messages are safe. So that seems to be like their thing with WhatsApp is that everything is messaged privately with layers of keep personal messages between you. So they did this in London. So people were talking about that, and then the one that you showed. So
they're trying to change their image.
I'm still not using it.
That's what I was trying to get to. If TJ says don't,
only because I remember this, and it's been a few years, but it was an Israeli company or hacking something that hacked into they used the WhatsApp app, even if you didn't open it, just because it was installed on your phone, they could hack. And I was like, I don't use WhatsApp, so I got rid of it. Now I don't know if they fixed that problem, but I don't like the fact that I have an app on my phone that I don't open, that you can use that as a backdoor into my phone.
I hate that.
I'm just saying. That was a while ago. So I don't know what's going on, but
and that's why I was questioning the security.
Whenever I hear WhatsApp, I remember that story. Okay, and that's my social media news update for this week.
And now we have Dr. Tachi, who will be taking us through this week in media. Dr. Tachi.
Hello, folks. I hope everybody is doing well. Are you hearing me well?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Well, listen, we have a lot going on in the world of media this week, as every day, so it's not anything new. But let's start with Andrew Cuomo. Oh, Andrew Cuomo. He's going to host a new weekly podcast, which leaves the door open to politics. So, disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is launching a new podcast on the subscription podcast platform Quake. So, I don't know if you all know about Quake, but it's a platform for podcasts. So, this is actually his first major public undertaking since he resigned last year in the wake of the sexual harassment scandal. It's a new hour-long show, and it's called As a Matter of Fact. Yay! And it will debut weekly on Thursdays it started yesterday. His first guest was White House Communications Director and Wall Street financier Anthony Scaramucci. And the first 2 episodes are free, but the others will be paywall, meaning I won't be listening because I don't pay for things. So it's supposed to be it will have radio-like call-ins. And so according to Axios, a big part of what he wants to do is hear from people, their questions, their issues, and then have a dialogue. So Cuomo didn't talk about the exact terms of the deal, but he said that he has a compensation arrangement with Quake as part of a 1-year deal. And the company will promote the new podcast with paid social media advertising. So what are they going to cover? News of the day, as well as policy solutions. And he stressed that it's going to be a fact-based coverage of the news. He says this: there's a fundamental problem with the entire system here. We have such a division of people. We have such dysfunction of government. And part of this is hyper-partisan extreme dialogue. Is the hyper-partisan extreme dialogue that goes on. So they'll cover things like the FBI's execution of the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago over the summer and policy issues like guns and immigration. So he may be the disgraced former governor of New York, but he is now a new podcast host that you can check out on Quake if you are into that. Thoughts on that, anyone?
No. Okay. So no. Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess everybody deserves
Another chance.
I was going to say that, but I don't know if that's true. Anyway, so let's move on to Netflix. Now, I have a lot of Netflix news. Now, Netflix is actually rebounding from their recent subscriber losses. If you remember, it was about 1.5 million or 1.2 million subscribers that they lost in the recent quarter. And they've actually made some subscriber gains. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we're listening.
No, so I was agreeing.
Oh, yeah. They've actually made some subscriber gains in quarter 3. They reversed their recent subscriber losses with a summertime gain. And they're hoping to build upon this with the upcoming launch of the cheaper version of the streaming service, of course, that is going to have ads. That seems to because, of course, they were trading higher on Wall Street. And the launch of this new tier actually seems to have increased investor hope or investor interest and confidence. Well, you'd be more confident too if you now have a sure way that you're going to get funding in. Ads means funding.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you're going to be a little more confident. That makes sense. So they disclosed on Tuesday that they picked up 2.4 million subscribers during the July-September period. And that's a comeback from, as I was saying, the loss of 1.2 million customers. So they basically gained 1.2 million if you look at the loss versus what they just gained. So they added 1.2. It almost balances out in a sense. So, so now
So Dr. Taji, real quick, what do you think about the Crown announcing that the new season is coming up in a few weeks, and I think they put the trailer out this week. So is that going to help their subscriber base?
That's a good question. It may and it may not, because here's the thing. If we're looking at, people are very interested in the Crown, obviously. And I was actually going to, talk about that. But
okay, go ahead.
No. Since you brought it up, let's explore that now. When the overwhelming, so let me just say with this, they have 223 million subscribers, okay, globally. I don't know the percentage of subscribers globally that are from the UK, and I suspect that the controversy and issues with things in the Crown has more an effect on the UK. In fact, commentators and things were saying that they shouldn't be putting out the dirty laundry of the royal family from the 90s in lieu of the fact that the Queen so recently passed.
Right.
Also, what's his name? Prince one of the members of the royal family actually, no, the former, sorry, not the member of the royal family, the former prime minister of Britain, can't remember his name now, he actually was upset at one of the depictions in The Crown at a plot to overthrow or to oust the queen. And he said, this is preposterous, this is rubbish, it's not true, that type of thing. So there's a lot of controversy. So bringing it back to say in terms of boosting, it maybe on the US side, it may not across the pond.
I agree, but I think across the pond they're gonna say they're not watching it, but they'll watch it.
Oh yeah, they'll absolutely watch it.
Because that's what they like to do over there. They like to poo-poo and downplay it, but they're the main ones, you know, watching and writing, and you know, because they got to write their stories for the tabloids over there. So.
Oh yeah. Well, they're watching it to point out what's wrong. That's what
right. That's what I mean. They hate watch, and then they type up all the negative stuff.
Was that Tony Blair that you were referring to?
It was not Tony Blair. I will find it. I actually have that story here somewhere. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. I will tell you.
No, I just brought that up because I thought it was interesting that the Crown trailer for the, and this is the final season. This is the, you know, where it's Charles and Diana and the whole Anna's, what is it, Anna's Hollywood, whatever the Queen called it, some Latin word she used for the 90s when I think the Windsor Castle burned and Charles and Diana divorced and Prince Andrew, his wife, so it was like a bad time for them. But it's historical. There's no reason to say, well, we're not going to show it because the Queen just passed away. Well, this was filmed earlier this year, so Netflix put money into production. They're not going to shelve it. This is the best time to put it out.
Absolutely. I think that there's also the argument that some creative license was taken with some of the things, but which is not anything that doesn't happen with other stories.
Right. So
that happens because
they put out a disclaimer saying this is, you know, fictionalized based on actual events. I believe it is the term. Something like that.
Exactly.
So if you're watching it thinking this is exactly what they're saying and this is exactly why, well, that's not it. It's just fictionalized drama that sells Netflix and gets them subscribers.
Exactly. So that's
Hollywood.
It is. The was John Major, not Tony.
John Major, yes, that's who it is. And see, the other side of this is that I've been reading this week is that they're upset across the pond, and it's all in the newspaper saying not to watch The Crown. That's free. Hey, Netflix advertising. Spend one dime on marketing and advertising because boom, you're doing it. So
Netflix is like, thank you. I think you all know. I did watch The Crown. I think it was the first season of The Crown. Because I found it interesting. But then again, you know that there's cognitive dissonance for me watching anything monarchy.
Right.
Who I am.
Right.
It bothers me to no end. To me, there's almost this romanticizing of the whole thing. Meanwhile, the entire time this is taking place, you are colonizing.
Right. That was the argument, especially when the last month when she died. That all of that came up, rightly so. And you're right that and I look at it from a historical point and also from, okay, we're in America, we kind of hazily know what it's about, but to look at The Crown and say, okay, this is not real, but some of it is, so it kind of fills in a blank, and it does. I think it takes the romance. You said romanticizing for us. I think it takes the blinders off, and like you're saying, we're really seeing like all of the stuff. And then this season, it's like, okay, all the people that didn't live through the Charles Diana stuff, and when she died, they're going to see it in all its nakedness, I guess is the word, and they're not going to be romanticized. That's starting to happen, especially when the Queen died. All of that goodwill and the royal, all of that went away when she passed. So it's like now we're seeing all the rawness and going, yeah, remember he said this and that, and him and Camilla, and now she's the queen. And how are you dealing with that? So I think it unravels it. I just think it's fascinating.
Well,
just looking at it from this side.
The queen was the final thread of protection, because not that these things have not been going on under the scenes, not that colonialism hasn't been a thing, but the passing of the queen has shown how protected the monarchy has been, and how even though there were people that may say something, the outcry was not as much. As soon as she passed, all these things, and you ask people that, to show respect.
Yeah, that was a thing. They were like, can you show respect? We're like, hey, we fought a whole war. Remember that war that we fought to get away from you? We dumped the tea in the Boston Harbor. We don't have to do anything you say. We don't have to live by, okay, show her respect. I'm like, okay, yes, respect for a day. But they kept the thing on for a week.
Yeah, exactly. And my thing is, you should, it's the same thing like when anybody passes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that erase the wrong you did in the world? And even if you specifically did do it, you sat on the throne idly by and did nothing. So
right.
That is also part of the whole controversy beyond what was said, what wasn't said. It's also partially that, because it's not just former British colonies, the people there that have a problem with the monarchy. It's also the British themselves. That's why in the 90s, when Windsor Castle, was it Windsor Castle that burned?
I think it was Windsor Castle, yeah.
Okay. What to rebuild that was going to fall on the taxpayers. They was like, oh,
everything. They put everything on the taxpayers. I'm like, how do they deal with it?
Y'all better cash in some of them jewels.
Yeah, so there's a lot of coming. This the final season of The Crown, and they saying that they shouldn't show it out of respect for the queen. No, we're showing this because first of all, it has nothing to. It's not historical. It's not accurate. It's not a documentary. It's fictionalized drama. This is the right time to show it because the attention on the royal family monarchy is there, and the downfall or crumbling of the facade is there. So Netflix is in the business of making money, and we're showing this thing now. Okay.
Exactly. And when has the queen had respect for us? I don't want to hear it. That's nonsense. So,
yeah.
And then to your point, when you Fred, see, you're like, they better cash in some of those jewels. Well, those jewels weren't theirs to cash in.
Right.
They're stolen from other places that you colonized. So I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but that's part of the
it's interesting. Also about the jewelry, I think there was a story about Camilla was going to wear the one from India, and now she's not going to wear it at the coronation. It's something from India, and they're saying no, she can't wear it.
Y'all better go to Tiffany's and buy something because there's a whole lot of people that'll be in an uproar.
Well, it's just interesting. Look at it, like you said, the romanticizing of it has fallen away, especially with the queen passing. It's really like, okay, real and raw now, and y'all gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do with those people. So,
well, I really don't care. They created all those problems in the world.
Exactly, that's their problem. They made it.
You made it. You fixed it. So go ahead, Netflix, show what you need to show. To stop protecting them, because they've never been in the business of protecting anybody else. But good question, definitely. But to your point, I think it could have, because of the kind of scandal, we're drawn to that type of thing, and it could have the effect of drawing people in. But that's not real gain, because this one show is on, we're all going to subscribe. That's not real gain. The real gain is, can you consistently keep the 1.2 million that you gain, or 1.4 that you gain through good content? That's the real test. And so with that, it's interesting. Moving on to what Netflix is going to do, they actually are considering a content spending boost after these numbers came out. So they're going to be spending about $17 billion on content this year and next year. but they hinted that they may boost this after a strong quarter. Okay. This reminds me of, I know I don't want to get into a tangent, but when has that ever stopped me before? It reminds me, I don't know if any of you watch Married to Medicine, do you?
My husband does.
Is that a reality show?
It is the housewives of Atlanta in a.
Oh, I've seen ads for it. I haven't watched it.
It's in a lab coat. Just saying.
Okay.
When you asked if it was a reality show, that let me know you don't watch it. Okay.
Nope.
No. It's a reality show, and it's comprised of couples that are in medicine. So either usually with these reality shows, the women are the main cast members. So the women are the cast members. So all of them but two are doctors, or one is a dentist, and then the other two are married to doctors. So of the couples, they're Eugene and Toya. Eugene is a doctor, and Toya, I think she is a housewife, so she should actually be on the Housewives. But she's married to medicine, and so they were in some financial trouble to the point where they owed like well over $100,000 to the IRS. As a result, they downsized their house. Eugene was picking up more shifts at the hospital and those types of things. Well, they paid back all the back taxes that they owed to the IRS. What did they do? The first thing they did was went out and bought a house that cost $1.2 million. You this predicament. Why are they spending that much money? She's building in Atlanta, their thing is the huge closets. Everybody, they love the huge houses, but the huge closet. So she has like a multi-level, I shouldn't say multi-level, a 2-level closet. It's $1.2 million and all of this, and they're spending all this money, but you were just in this. This is what Netflix to me is doing. Simply because you had a great quarter does not mean you should take that little bit of money that you made and now spend it on more content.
Yep, you need to bank it.
They are the Married to Medicine of the content world. So we'll see. But they've received these great positive subscriber numbers on Tuesdays after 2 quarters of subscription losses. So this is, like I said, giving confidence to investors and has boosted their confidence because they're wanting to spend more than that figure. Because what they said, Ted Sarandos said this during an investor video, that they're going to revisit the $17 billion figure. It has been spent on hit titles like Stranger Things 4, Dahmer, and The Gray Man. So we know Stranger Things is ending after this season, so maybe some of that will be funneled into, obviously, new series. This is what they say. What we're seeing is that both the scope and scale, as well as the range and cadence of hits, is improving. So I feel better about that $17 billion of content spend, because what we have to do is be better at getting more impact per $1 billion spend than anyone else. That's how we're focusing on it. I think we're spending at about the right level. As we reaccelerate revenue, we'll revisit that number, of course, but we're pretty disciplined about that. I hope you are, because $17 billion is quite a spend. That's up from a few years ago when they were spending $15 billion, so that's about $2 billion more. $17 billion, that's good. That's enough. Stay there, see what you can do to build, and then revisit. Don't revisit it now.
Yeah, that's with the B.
Yes. So let's talk more, even more Netflix. Netflix says this, that they are committed to a binge release strategy for their series. Despite the rumors that we may have heard, and despite some things we may have seen, Netflix says that they don't have any plans to stop dropping episodes of TV shows all at once, which will keep that binge-friendly viewing experience. They said in their Q3 shareholder letter, which I should look at, we think our bingeable release model helps drive substantial engagement, especially for newer titles. This enables viewers to lose themselves in the stories they love. So this comment actually came after a newsletter called Puck last month reported that Netflix execs were thinking about changing the binge strategy to release major titles on a weekly schedule.
No.
So they're saying no, you know. It says, it's hard to imagine, for example, how a Korean title like Squid Game would have become a mega hit globally without the momentum that came from people being able to binge watch it, they said in this shareholder letter. We believe the ability for our members to immerse themselves in a story from start to finish increases their enjoyment, but also their likelihood to tell their friends, which then means more people watch, join, and stay with Netflix. That, to me, makes the most sense out of anything that they've done. To change the binge watching strategy and dole out things like precious pieces of chocolate or gold dusted chocolate weekly would be a mistake. So maybe they'll do that for some things, but for major releases, according to Variety, they're going to stay with the binge dropping model.
And I say yay, because I don't like the doling out every week for something. You got to wait. I want to read this. I want to watch the story from beginning to end on a weekend if I want to. Just let me do it. I don't like, okay, now I got to wait till next week. Oh, I got to wait again till the next. I was like, see, that's annoying to me.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think that this attitude is right, that it just follows that you have to have more for people to watch. If you're going to do the binge watching strategy, when people are finished binging that and they're hungry for more, you have to feed that hunger. So then it's up to you as a streamer to make sure that you have good quality content that people want to see. That's all.
Right. I'm glad they didn't change that model.
People would be like your newfound protesting skills, Francine. That's what people would be doing. Protesting at the door of Netflix.
Pitchforks and torches. Like, what are you doing?
Torches and pitchforks. Well, let's talk some more about TV. We'll talk about Prime Video really quickly. They are adding a Black Friday game to the NFL package in 2023. You know they have the rights to broadcast NFL games, and the league announced just Tuesday that Amazon Prime Video will stream a game on the day after Thanksgiving. The first Black Friday game will kick off at 3 p.m. on November 24th, and the teams will be announced in May when the regular season, this is for 2023, by the way. The teams will be announced in May when the regular season schedule is expected to be released. So the NFL is expanding itself to Black Friday beginning next season. That's interesting for people who care. Go ahead.
Well, because nobody is going Black Friday shopping, because we're all doing it online in October. And so we're not going to be Black Friday shopping. We'll be sitting down and watching the football game.
Right.
Absolutely. And see, this is going to also be, this type of thing is going to be a challenge. You brought up something really interesting. That's going to be a challenge for retail in person. And so what's going to need to happen is these malls, these shopping centers, these brick and mortars are going to need to find a way to get you in there, whether that means some rock bottom prices for people who actually bundle up if you live someplace cold and come into the store. They're going to have to do something, because places like Amazon, they're already stealing your thunder with Amazon shopping. Now, to add insult to injury, after they've shopped on Amazon, now they can watch Amazon Prime for the game. You better find a way to get these people in. I'm telling you.
They're gonna need to pick another day. Black Friday now. Move your day somewhere else, because it is not going to. It's not going to be like it used to. It's changed. The season has changed, and if people don't recognize that, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they've already, so Black Friday, usually the day after Black Friday is Small Business Saturday. That's something that American Express instituted and came up with, but it's just now kind of taken off, and then you have Cyber Monday. But Cyber Monday is really for online shopping. So they're going to need to figure out a way, like you said, pick a different day, pick something else, not Black Friday, or to really have rock bottom sales. And it's going to have to go beyond sales, and you're going to have to make it an experience. Just like when they were trying to woo and entice people back to movie theaters by offering like, free little snack editions and like facials and things like that. You're really going to have to pull out all the stops to bring people in. There are some people that are just going to want to have an outing anyway, but then the majority is like, it's cold. Why would I go out when I can order this online?
Right.
You're going to have to find a way.
Cyber Monday is going to take over, and it's already happened because Amazon did the Prime Day twice already right now. They're going to do it again. And some other people got on the bandwagon and said, hey, this is our whatever sales online.
Walmart, Target, Best Buy.
They're doing stuff now. They're not waiting until Cyber Monday.
Yeah, because see, they figured out that it's not about, okay, Black Friday. It's about they can put deals out anytime. Amazon showed that we don't have to wait for Black Friday because everybody's connected. I got a phone in my hand. I can shop whenever I want.
And see, this is what Amazon did as well. So because I'm an Amazon influencer, we had like a pre-Prime Day where you could do broadcasts and videos on things that were going to be on sale for Prime before Prime Day actually happened. So they're now pulling in their influencers, and they're pulling out all the cavalry to make sure that this works. Retail, brick and mortar retail doesn't stand a chance unless they change something. So good luck to you.
They better put Santa, bring Santa out there and let Santa have some pizza or something for the kids.
It's just the old way we used to do things
retail
wise don't work anymore. The pandemic came and disrupted that chain, and now people buy wherever. You don't have to drive them to the store. I don't want to go to the store. Things come to me now. I got used to that.
Look,
I tell you, the other day my mother was talking about she needs to go and buy some Anacin. I was like, forget that. I have Amazon Prime. I'll send it to you. So, and it was cheaper for me to send her the Anacin, the 300 tablets. For her, that's her go-to pain reliever, Anacin. So I was like, oh, I'll send it to you. So it was like $12.99 for the 300 tablets. And if you go to the store, it's like about 14 or something like that. So I was like, forget that. I'll send it to you. That's where we are now in this.
That's where we are.
I don't have to go, and oh my gosh, it just saves so much time. So I remember the days when somebody would be coming, and I'm like, okay, not only am I cleaning up and doing things, I also have to go to the store and get some food. All right, well, Trader Joe's. You can even call now. They have these services like Dumpling, and you can get a shopper to go to Trader Joe's for you because they really don't do Instacart. But I can the card and save time and have the stuff delivered. I don't have to go and physically do things. That's where we are. So that's where everybody needs to be. Even when it comes to media and taking in media content, particularly movies, people do want to go and see first-run things. But if I can see that at home,
yes,
why would I bother?
I was like, can I see Black Adam at home? Because
exactly,
I was like, I need to find out who is that? Who is the people? The online.
Oh, Fandango.
Yeah, if they have the online version of that where I can watch it that way, I'll pay for it. I just don't want to go out of the house.
Right.
I will too. Look, Mediascope will host a watch party.
And we will pay for it. We don't mind paying. It's just like
they're stuck in the old model of you must go to the theater, you must go to the grocery store, we're not that we left that model. We're not going back to it. It's like, oh, when they're coming back to the store, when are they going back to the office? They don't have to go back. It can be hybrid. Everything's a hybrid now. And they had to get used to that.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you know why theaters are doing that or movies do that? They want to keep the old model because for award season, the Oscars require that you have a certain amount of weeks run of your movie in theaters for it to be considered for Oscar nomination or consideration. So that's the whole thing there. It's the awards that are holding that. So on top of that, the movie theaters, they're like, oh, well, that's money for us when people come into the theaters because the money is made off of concessions, not the movie itself. So that's, all of this is not really benefiting the consumer the way we want to consume content. So it's like until those types of awards become less important, that old system is going to, the old Hollywood studio system is going to maintain its stronghold on the industry.
And maybe somebody needs to disrupt that industry, meaning that, okay, so now we will consider you if you had so many viewers online instead of, the number of weeks that it ran in the theater. Just like, come on, y'all, make a shift. We don't want to go.
We don't want that. You won't see that until all these old school people leave.
Yeah.
However they leave.
That's very nice. However they leave.
However they may leave, either voluntarily or involuntarily. You're not going to see it.
Involuntarily.
It comes with new, fresh air coming in the form of new creators, new execs, younger execs. That's where that change comes.
Right. And I think there's a new executive. Devon Franklin came and spoke at our church, and he, and he talked about how, I believe, I got to go back and look this up, or I can send you the YouTube video if you want to watch what he said, that they were putting him as president of Oscars.
Okay.
And
I was like, oh, say what? Okay. So I'll send you all the video. YouTube video clip.
Please. So I'm going to give you one last story. It's about Apple. And so in case you are interested, Apple has released new streaming TV devices with lower prices.
What?
So they released a whole bunch of new gadgets on Tuesday, including an updated version of its new Apple TV streaming device. That comes with a lower price. The new version is Apple TV 4K. It starts with 64 gigs of onboard storage for streaming apps and games at a cost of $130.
Wow.
$50 less than comparable versions introduced several years ago. So the base model of the Apple TV 4K works exclusively with Wi-Fi, and it ships with an updated Siri-powered voice remote, and it incorporates USB-C instead of the Lightning port. So that's good because now you don't have to pay for proprietary Lightning cables and all of that. You could just use USB-C cables. It runs on the A15 Bionic processor, which the company said will lead to better loading times and greater compatibility with games. And the upgraded version of the Apple TV 4K includes an Ethernet port for wired internet connection, and it bumps up the internal storage to 128 gigs for $30 more.
Wow.
So let me just tell you really quickly, Apple, Bob Borchers is an Apple executive in charge of worldwide product marketing, and he says this, quote, Apple TV 4K is the ultimate way for Apple users to enjoy their favorite entertainment on the biggest screen in the home, and now it's more powerful than ever. The new Apple TV 4K is unlike anything else out there, giving it seamless connection to other Apple devices, ease of use, and access to amazing Apple content. It offers something for everyone in the family to love. So, if you're in the market for a new Apple connected device, check out the Apple TV 4K at $130 base starting price. And that's what I have for you today.
Wow. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really a full. didn't mean to go there. This has been a full day of tech today, and we trust that you all got something out of it, those listening on Clubhouse and here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever we are in the world. Thank you for joining us today. We will be back on Monday. And if you would like to become a part of the BizChicks community, you can do so by going to bizchicks.net. That's bizchicks.net, or you can join us by texting biz to 33777 and join that way. Any way that you do it, we want you to become a part of the community. It costs you nothing to do so, and we would really enjoy promoting you and your company because we know that you have genius to share with the rest of the world, and we're happy to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. So with that, we want to say thank you again. And Terry or Dr. Tachi, any final thoughts?
Great show as usual.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So we're looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Dr. Tachi, you can find her on Mediascope, just about everywhere. You can find TJ at terryjohnsononline.live. And we want to say thank you. It's okay for you to make money in your business. And then don't forget to go to the front of your own line. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.